the Conspiracy Brothers. One and all.
Well, COVID 2020, guys. You guys holding it down?
Yeah, Corona 666.
Man, it's so crazy. How do we even talk about the things that are going on when there's so much going on at one time?
Dude, it's only being more and more exposed as a hoax.
And you know what? People are still freaked out about it. And I keep waiting for everybody to start relaxing a little bit and kind of being like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to be so afraid and be so crazy about this fucking mask. But It's not happening for a lot of people. Some people are doubling down on their fear, and I don't get it.
Well, because in the fear, they have their virtual signal going on. Their virtue signal, where they're like, they think that if they're wearing a mask and you're not, they're better than you, and that means that they can come down on you. You know, they've been programmed to be these little like minion warriors that go after anyone that, you know, is going outside of the official story of believing this bullshit mask routine.
It's funny, man, because at my work, there's a real sort of class divide. Not the usual sort of class that I'm talking about, but it does sort of go along those boundaries in an interesting way, kind of. But there are people that are like, I'm not wearing these fucking masks. And they're not doing it, dude.
Cal, are they not worried about their own personal safety?
I haven't met anybody who is. I met some folks actually from Lake Geneva who lived in the area. They were staying a few miles outside of town where I were, and they said they're worried about it. They're worried about that second spike. They're worried about folks coming in from Chicago. But they'll quickly add at the same time, this is a place that relies on that business. I think people here want a little bit more funding when it comes to these programs so that they could stay closed. But again, I think people felt like the Supreme Court made the decision here in Wisconsin that it was time to open up. But you can see, here, just around. Nobody's wearing them. Nobody's, there you go, including the cameraman. Yeah. Katie. You can see, here, just around. Nobody's wearing them. Nobody's,
including the cameraman.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Katie.
Exactly. Half your crew's not wearing them. Yes. So thank you. How you doing?
And it's so cool because there's no age thing. It's young people and old people across the board. Middle-aged people are saying, fuck it. And it seems to be the people who work more with their hands and the people that are like doing things in more of a physical way in the environment, do things outside, are less afraid than the people who are just sort of talking to people all day over their phones.
Well, I was just going to say that it seems like the majority of people that don't buy it are men, and men are the people that are working outside, using their hands.
True. You know, but a lot of women though, dude. I work with this lady, and she is having none of this shit.
I mean, the discerning women that are like waking up to the fact that there's just overwhelming evidence that we're being scammed. You know?
Yes. And some people were from the get-go being like, yo, this is fucking fishy. Something's rotten in the state of Denmark. And we're two of them. But like other people, it's funny because it's now going on a while. You know, this is not like we're like over a month now.
Yeah, it's like 2 months now, isn't it?
And I have yet to be littered with ashes of bodies when I go to work in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing all these frontline workers. They're around. They're not wearing masks. They're not dying, you know, in masses. Like they're making fucking dancing TikTok videos.
So my mask, I've been wearing the same. I have a mask basically because I have this thing that where when I'm being like anti-authority and I'm pushing back against some of the constraints that I feel are not proper, I tend to like all right. So there have been times where I've been wearing my mask, dude. I'm ashamed to say, because I've been refused service in a lot of stores. There are people who I used to like in stores that used to wait on me that now look at me like I'm gonna fucking rob the place.
Wow.
And then they feel better when I put on a mask, but it's still not the same like the way it used to be. And I'm like, dude, obviously I didn't infect you and kill you before. So and I'm still alive. and I'm still fucking going. I'm going to work every day, dude.
Yeah.
7 days a week, I go to work. I'm still alive.
Yeah.
And it's like they're so mad at you, though.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like all of these people that are so worried about people dying. If they see you without a mask, they're like wishing death on you.
I know, dude. Some of them, and it makes me like, there are times because I don't wear it in the car because I'll die before I do that. It's too absurd. I have HEPA filters.
Dude, how about these people that are fucking crashing because they're not getting enough oxygen, so they pass out and then they're fucking crashing their cars?
I know. Some people are really not like the mask shit is. It's crazy. This has become like a cultural divide.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, they know divide and conquer works, and this is like a real ultimate divide and conquer, even beyond like race, you know?
Right? Yeah.
Unbelievable. And these people that are believing in the if they're wearing their mask, they're like, doing their part in society. They're ill-informed. Do they know how small a virus is? That like putting like a piece of like underwear over your face is not going to do it. Think about how a fart slips out. It's going through like multiple layers of clothing and reaching someone's nose across the room. And yet we're supposed to believe that, just put your mask on and, social distance and we'll save humanity. Meanwhile, fucking humanity is dying by starvation because the economy is shut down. That's what fucking pisses me off, man. These people that are saving lives by, I'm wearing my mask and I'm shutting down and I'm staying inside. Meanwhile, people are fucking dying of starvation, and that is going to go up and up and up and up and up. And that's really what they want.
So what I don't know is because I haven't been following the media, as Ali G used to say.
Yeah.
The media. I don't know. I'm on a total blackout from them because I don't trust them. So there's really no sense. So until I see shit in the streets that concerns me, and I read online too. There are some sources too, but I'm not watching their bullshit because I know a hardcore propaganda campaign, a psychological warfare when I see it.
Oh yeah.
And it is in my household, and I am talking to people at my work, and it's in their households too. And it is dividing and conquering families and social groups over, dude. First of all, these masks. So I work in a laboratory, and I have to go through gloves, and I have to go through about 20 pairs of gloves a day if I work a full day in a laboratory, and I'm still cross-contaminating.
Yeah,
with
and
masks,
they tell you, wear your one pair of gloves all day long, and you're good. It's like that defeats the whole fucking purpose.
I want to have. So I've been wearing the same fucking mask, but the reason why I really just kind of gave up on it is because it started to smell funny. So I Febrezed it.
Oh yeah,
right.
Corona, right there. It says on the bottle.
Yeah, but dude, I don't know. I just don't like doing this. It doesn't seem right because what I'm worried is you can get bacteria in your mask, and you could get some kind of weird breeding ground in there, and I could be Febrezing it all day and creating some kind of super bug.
Yeah.
I'm creating my own little Wuhan lab right there in my mask. And I'm supercharging these fucking soldiers. And then they're going to invade me and kill me. And then there'll be a COVID-21 or whatever. And I'll be fucking responsible for it. It'll be created in my mask.
Yeah. And not even Fauci or Bill Gates will be like funding it.
I don't like either one of those guys at all. I hate them both.
The picture is becoming more clear about how these dudes are criminals, and people are waking up, man. Fucking Bill Gates can't say shit online without people like crawling up his ass, but people are still buying into it. And this Fauci guy, he's just being exposed more and more of a criminal.
So what I don't understand about Trump is why he doesn't just have him killed. And I know I shouldn't say that. It's not nice.
I was wondering the same thing myself, You know what
I mean?
That's why I'm like, yeah. Don't they? We have these black ops teams. Just go and take them out. What the fuck?
Trump should just kill him personally. It doesn't matter. He can do whatever he wants.
Godfather style.
Exactly. He could put Fauci's head in Joe Biden's bed so he wakes up. Whatever, man. He can fucking do it.
Hell yeah, man.
See, that's how I know that. Sometimes I wonder, like, could Trump be that evil because there are so many people that have been spared? Because I know that if I had ultimate power, that just on crazy whims, I would have people that annoyed me killed. And I know it's not right, and I may even feel bad about it, but I might be like, yo, you got to make Chelsea Handler.
Well, I mean, the CIA has their heart attack gun. I mean, it's really not.
As a poison that was undetectable, especially one that seemed to mimic a heart attack, that would kill someone, but it would appear that they had a heart attack. I did find such a thing.
Does this pistol fire the dart?
Yes, it does, Mr. Chairman. And a special one was developed which potentially would be able to enter the target without perception.
The poison was frozen into some sort of dart, and then it was shot at very high speed into the person. So when it reached the person, it would melt inside them, and the only thing would be like one little tiny red dot on their body, which was hard to detect. There wouldn't be a needle left or anything like that in the person.
But also the toxin itself would not appear in the autopsy?
Yes, so that there was no way of perceiving that the target was hit.
I mean, make it.
Yo, they tried to use that shit on me, dog, but it didn't work. I'm convinced.
Superhuman.
Heart was too strong.
But yeah, dude, this fucking so Bill Gates. I was looking all into it and whatnot, and I mean, he's basically like the head of this like.
What's funny is that in a country that supposedly worships education so much, that motherfucker's just a college dropout.
Yeah. Yeah.
He ain't no biologist.
Yeah.
Francis Crick.
Yeah. And then how about
Walter Scott?
How about the dude?
He ain't have Scott Fitzgerald. He's a nobody. He's a fucking software salesman.
Yeah.
He's a rich boy whose daddy was more than just rich. Whose daddy was like
the front man for the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. I mean, he's the front man.
Yeah. His little rise, Bill Gates, is not really all that impressive. What impresses me is that he's just shrewd and he's been so bold as to rub his shit in people's faces without getting his fucking balls kicked in. And I think that time might be getting short.
Dude, did you see the video? I'll put it in here, but there's multiple videos, but one particular where he's talking to this guy, this other global frontman, Fareed Zakaria. You know this guy? So he's interviewing him, and the Zakaria guy is like, yeah, so we're looking at, society could easily collapse and, in no time. And as soon as he says it, Bill Gates has got this maniacal smile like, yeah.
Because anything like it was, it's going to take a long time to recover. It's going to be, people are going to be surprised at how slow and how fitful this is. It's going to take a long time to recover. It's going to be, people are going to be surprised at how slow and how fitful this is. So what?
Those guys, let me tell you a little something about these fuckwads, because they're all their power and all their money, they never got women to like them, and they never had any real friends. So they hate human beings. And they want to destroy him. Mark Zuckerberg is another one of those motherfuckers. And I can speak very confidently, even though I've never met these men.
It's funny. I was just going to bring him up. But yeah, so Bill Gates, apparently, he rules over Zuckerberg, who, which is where Zuckerberg has to censor anyone on YouTube who, opposes the official dictation. You know what I mean? But apparently, what's interesting, if you look into it, apparently he is the grandson of David Rockefeller. Apparently his real name, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly his real name is Jacob Greenberg. And he's also the grandson to Hank Greenberg, who is royalty. Royalty. And
he didn't write that Spirit in the Sky song? No. Do you know that guy? He lived his entire life from the proceeds of that one song.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I would do the same thing.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so Zuckerberg apparently means sugar mountain in German, and apparently that's their secret word for Facebook, a mountain of information which they can extract billions. And like apparently there was a police report that had this Jacob Greenberg arrested for marijuana possession. This was back before he was Mark Zuckerberg, and
I don't see him smoking weed.
I mean, he could have been replaced in reality. I mean,
I know. I'm kidding with you. I know.
What I mean? Like, I don't really believe that he's human. I really don't think that Elon Musk is human.
Yeah. What do you think about his latest shit about holding his, going into his factory and be like, I'll be working the line?
I mean, I thought that was cool, and I like that he's suing California and he's getting his operation the fuck out, moving to Texas.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
but-
some people never stopped going to work to begin with. No one ever talked about ever giving me a day off.
But yo, he pushes his Neuralink shit. Like, well, you saw his recent thing.
What kind of fucking horse shit is that? What kind of numbskull is going to put that in their brain? First of all, we don't know his cars, the long-term performance. I think we're still waiting on this.
Supposedly unbreakable windows. Shattered not once,
Oh my God.
but twice. Musk brushing it off in stride.
Just fix it in post.
Are we going to put him in we're going to put that shit in our bodies now with just his assurance?
Dude, all they got to do is frame it for convenience. And if you got like an eye problem, oh, we'll fix that. If you want to learn a new instrument, oh, we'll just do that in a second. Something that I would be very interested in. You know, I mean, but
wait. It can tell you can play an instrument better with this?
yeah, according to him,
Or is that just some horse shit they're saying down the road? Because there are a lot of these futurist guys that make a lot of claims because they don't actually do anything with technology. They're like, oh yeah, you'll be like the chess grandmaster by all you have to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, yeah, maybe down the road those things are possible, but not when technology is in this sort of nascent form. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got to find the guy. Remember I told you about him who he was this like 80-year-old dude that had never had any experience painting or playing the piano or anything really artistic. And he said that through this certain breathing meditation, this breathing technique, it would allow him to like go up into the ether and pull down these skills. And so he do this meditative technique, and before he knew it, he was painting masterpieces and playing fucking Mozart and shit. And he had never done anything like that, you know? And
there's a few instances.
Yeah, the breathing technique is pretty hard, though. It's 13 seconds in, 13 seconds out. That's some elongated shit.
I've tried it. I've had very mixed results with some of these breathing exercises because I'm trying everything all the time. I would never do anything illegal, but I'm trying anything I'm interested in meditation activities, anything transcendental to alter consciousness. I'm interested in it, especially for somebody who makes a living in a creative pursuit. You got to get your edge, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if I were a jazz musician, I'd be smoking weed because you got to get your edge. You got to get a jazz cigarette. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I believe in this stuff. So I've been doing the deep abdominal breathing and you draw out your breath. I got started with Wim Hof. Have you ever heard of Wim Hof?
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Man, just listen to what that guy has to say for an hour. Dude, first of all, I'll just give you a breakdown on some of the things that Wim Hof did. And it's going to sound like I'm telling some fish stories, but this is some real shit, okay? Because other people have validated it. No one's contesting any of this is true, all right? So that dude, he climbed Mount Everest in his fucking bedroom slippers and shorts. All right. And he didn't take any Sherpas or anything. No Sherpas were like carrying him up on their shoulders and like massaging his gums while he did it. No, he just did that shit. He walked up in his bare feet. I don't think he wore a shirt, dude. It was some cliffhanger fucking Sly Stallone type shit. People were like, you can't be out there with your wife beater on the mountain, Stallone. Well, Wim Hof proved him right, and he didn't need any CGI or anything. People filmed it. It was all legit. And it's all based on controlling your metabolism through your breathing and your sort of focused intent. And so I'll break down some more shit that motherfucker did. He swam under a bunch of fucking ice. Under ice. All right? Like he swam under, like there was like some frozen lake and there was, he went through it on purpose. First of all, I won't even go near a lake that's frozen. No fucking way. Lakes in general are too scary, man. They're lake monsters. I don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, he went out there and went down one of those holes and swam and then went past the hole because he went somehow blind and then ended up having to hold his breath longer. So he held some record for holding his breath underwater.
Wow.
That was another thing he did. And then as I'm telling the story, I'm having trouble. I'm like Mitt Romney. I can't remember the third thing. But there was some other crazy shit.
You're not as bad as Joe Biden. But you go ahead.
That guy, Joe Biden, says shit. It's like a computer glitch or something. I can't diagnose it. I don't understand. I've never been that drunk.
How about the one where he was talking about his leg hair and the kids that like are like bugs or something and
hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Do you remember?
I've seen that one and a bunch of other things, and it makes me think that it's like, it almost looks like somebody tried to write like a software to mimic someone's voice, and it just started coming out with random phrases.
Yeah.
Like, it's not random words, it's random phrases and stuff, and random stories being sort of like woven together.
Well, I mean, he says he's basically had a lobotomy.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Although I've heard and I've seen video, people who have been lobotomized, and they seem to function a lot better than he does.
Yeah, totally.
And I mean, and dude, he's creepy as fuck. When he's on the screen, when he's on the TV screen, I get scared. I don't like it.
That's not even just when he's like molesting kids and like, you know, groping women and
I mean, and what do you think about what he did to the poor American Pie chick? Just kidding. I know it's not really her, but Tara Reid.
Oh, Tara Reid. Yeah, no, and how about how like, you know, all the Democrats are like, before when it was the, you know, what was his name, Kavanaugh, it was like you had to believe the woman no matter what, even though she was completely without credibility. And all the people she brought in to support her, they were like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. They were all like, oh, we got to believe her. We got to believe her. Now this woman coming out against Biden, they're all like, no, she's a piece of trash. You know, like, you can't believe Biden wouldn't do that. You know, all this, and we have him on video doing all of this shit, and it's just so overt now that we're really seeing how the difference in, like, you know, sound mind and insanity, you know?
I mean, Biden, listen, I'm not trying to say anything good. I hated Kavanaugh from his work with the Patriot Act and shit. Don't even get me. I detested him long before this shit ever happened, right?
Right, but they didn't have any evidence on him, though, right? That was the thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
he seems less creepy than Biden.
Yeah, he just
wanted
as
a guy, like,
wanted some beer.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that interview, dog, that was some tricky shit. That was when I started to think about people who they say it's like a simulation and it's broken, and how like Sam Tripoli has a show, Broken Simulation, and when he was talking about beer in front of like Congress, I was like, something ain't right about this. Something.
That was wild.
He's saying beer too much. This isn't right.
Yeah.
This is a glitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck Joe Biden, that son of a bitch. That fucking, first of all, he's a plagiarist. He's a fucking plagiarist. And he could just go pay somebody for a speech. He doesn't even need to plagiarize. He could afford to pay somebody competent to do it. But no, he's got to steal from John F. Kennedy, that motherfucker.
It's all so ridiculous. But before I forget, I wanted to go into Stephen Greer.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was on Alex Jones today.
Yeah, so I've seen him on Higher Side, or heard him on Higher Side. But let's hear about the Alex Jones interview. I haven't got a chance to check it out yet.
Well, he has a new documentary out called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which it sounds fucking dope.
Oh, sure.
And going along with that, so dude, he put out an app. You'll love this. That it's an app that uses the remote viewing meditation techniques that the CIA uses.
Oh shit, I use some of those things. But go ahead, yeah.
They got an app for that now, you know? And it goes in, it tells you like all the different, like the special chair you need, and like, you know, I just briefly glanced at it, but
you ever tried?
What?
To try remote viewing?
I tried it today, but then Wolfie started barking, and I got taken out of the moment.
Yeah. I mean, full concentration is something it's easier said than done.
Oh yeah. I mean, if the phone is not blowing up, or there's not like a neighbor like shouting at somebody, or
or I get stuck in my own head.
Yeah,
and it's really hard, because that's the thing about meditation for me is I'll get stuck, especially if I'm mad. I'll get fixated on something and it'll just spin and spin and spin and spin. Yeah. And the shit, it's like torture. And sometimes I have to meditate to stop it. It's like the only way to do it. Sometimes working out will help a little bit, but sometimes it doesn't even work. It just steams me up worse.
So Stephen Greer, he was talking about how Elon Musk, he's like trying to, get the technology to like have telepathically like communicate. And this dude's like, dude, we've had this for like years and years, and we're already like decades and decades beyond what's being shown to the world and whatnot.
Yeah, we have like GoToMeeting for that shit nowadays. That ain't no problem.
Yeah, I mean, he was going on about how, going with what Tesla showed us, or that you can just plug into the fucking earth for free energy. We don't need all this solar bullshit. We don't need all this other, bollocks that you just plug it. Like, have you heard about?
Solar is good.
Yeah, but it's not really. It doesn't yield the same. What are we got? Sorry. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, and he was going into some, nanotechnology and how you can like just conjure stuff out of thin air, which I was reading in this book that I wanted to go into you with, because you're the nanotech man.
I don't know about conjuring shit out of thin air, but I'm all ears.
Well, I mean, you'll even say that there is no nothingness. So what seems air is abundant with much stuff, you might say,
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the way to think, yeah. I mean, the way to think about things, and I'm saying this, and I'm not saying, I say this not as somebody who's like an expert thinking like this. It's a type of thinking that I've had to adapt in terms of just physics and chemistry. And that's the world's not really, matter isn't the thing to really focus on, it's the fields and the way that fields interact. And that is what manifests matter. And it manifests a lot of other things too, that may be interacting as well. Right. And maybe some ways that are maybe difficult for us to discern and make sense of. So there is a lot of, and also there are things that are called sort of virtual particles. So there are things that can have probability functions where something isn't fully in reality or fully out of it. So you can have something that exists in sort of a half state, and language begins to fail you at this point.
Yeah.
Because just the way that human beings have had to make up words and language and phrases and description, it's never had to penetrate this type of shit. So all of our language, that's why it seems like people are bullshitting you when they talk about quantum physics. Because it is sort of like that. It's because the language is contradictory. Because the kind of concepts don't exist. We don't have the words for them.
Right. That's why we got to telepathically communicate.
Yeah. So pictures, so spatial type of thinking, and even that can be very difficult when you think about multi-dimensions. But people have to get out of being stuck with language so much and try to not wrap the world try not to decompose the world into words so much.
And it's funny when you think about schooling, largely that's like the first thing that they're like disseminating into you, like
yes.
You gotta, okay, these words mean this, and then you have to learn these, and anything that exists outside of those words, you can't really communicate anything about.
Yeah, and eventually you can't even conceptualize properly.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I see a lot of people who have like real trouble fucking navigating reality. And I mean, I'm crazy. I have trouble navigating reality sometimes. But there are people who just don't reason properly because they're stuck in language.
Yeah.
And language is just a tool. It's a blunt instrument for navigating and understanding reality.
Yeah, and think about how that tool is used as something used against you, like in law.
Yeah.
Basically come up with this legalese just so they can use it against people so they have no idea what's being said. And then when you get into it, it's interesting when you talk about spelling, That's what it is. You're like casting spells.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought, but you're right. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And apparently, where we get the word grammar comes from grimoire, which is a
Yes.
spell book, a book of spells.
Yeah, that's what I call my lab notebooks, my grimoires.
Yeah. And isn't it amazing that like when you get into the nitty gritty, like all of what we say, they say like, that's why be careful what you say, because you're putting out this vibrational energy and it's manifesting. You don't realize it, but we're putting out fucking spells. We're magicians. We don't even know it, but we're taught to not use our magical skills for, positive endeavors.
Yeah, you're taught to deny that magic exists. First they trivialized it.
Yeah.
And then they convinced you.
Like it was a thing for kids.
Yeah.
And it came out that there was, dark magic groups that are doing all kinds of ritualistic shit.
Yeah, it's interesting because back in the Dark Ages and shit, they tried to just make it illegal and make it some black market, back of the woods type shit to do. But nowadays they make it kid stuff in order to marginalize it.
Dude,
so it's an interesting approach.
Yeah. I mean, the way they sell it to kids, like when I was working at the school, all the little girls were all into witchcraft. All of the books they'd be running around with were all like witchcraft books, made for kids. It was crazy.
Yeah, they got any of my books? Yeah, they should have gone my books. No, but I don't really have a problem. I don't know. That's the thing. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I don't know. Maybe curiosity, I guess, does kill the cat, so to speak. But
so what you're saying, you don't have a problem with the fact that this stuff is being sold to kids and pushed on kids, magic stuff?
If kids are curious about something and they want to go investigate it, and they do it in a safe, so if they want to investigate it, I don't have a problem with that.
Right, but the trouble is that think about who's giving this information to the kids. Do they have their best interests at heart?
We're talking about Disney, and absolutely not.
Yeah, exactly. So, they know. I mean, they have, social engineers that, construct all this shit about how they're gonna like indoctrinate little, kids into embracing the dark occult world, and
I'm like, just get into the lab, kids.
What's that?
They should get into the labs. Get into the lab. Set yourself up a little witchcraft lab. Start working, and that's the thing. Like, you learn that there's real magic.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, but the social engineers, the controllers, the archons, they want to use the magic for their own doings, not let anyone know that magic is real and this world is full of it, and we could do good with it if it was brought to our attention.
Those archons, such an interesting idea that I wish I knew about when I was a little kid, because man, I would have been scared shitless. Man, because I always talk about the Cormac McCarthy book, Blood Meridian.
Yeah.
And how the judge in that is, it's like an archon.
Yeah.
It is pretty, and I actually think about reading the book again now that I've done more research on archons. And that's some devilish shit.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, and just
you believe it
in the archons?
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I do. When you look at just the nature of the world, I do believe it. But do I believe? I also do believe that it's possible to get around their control. Like if you operate on like a higher vibrational energy field, I feel like you're already, like outside their fucking control system, and
I think you're right. I think it's a matter of practice and will.
And so it gets me wondering about the whole, like, I was reading something about how you can basically just jump into a different timeline of reality. I mean, who knows, depending on like, if you do the right meditative fucking breathing technique, you might just like wake up. Oh, like, I
feel like it's happened to me in my life.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me, I was listening to Joe Rogan. He was talking about how Ari Shaffir, he did, I think I'm
familiar with the story.
Salvia?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he went.
How he lived a long period of time as an experience for him, in a very short time to the people who were observing him under the influence of a short-acting drug.
Yeah.
And so, but it was highly traumatic for him to be gone for that
You
long.
wake up after like 3 months and you're like back. It's like time traveling almost, you know?
Yeah. I
And
imagine
then
that.
I was interested to learn that that apparently sage is salvia. Like
Yeah.
sage they burn in the fucking churches, and we burn in the cleansing my apartment, you know?
It's a certain bloodline of the sage plant.
So I guess it does stand to reason that all of these like religious ceremonies were enhanced by some psychedelic, tomfoolery.
So there's salvia so I have a little, because it's not, at the time I was not doing anything illegal.
Is it illegal
So I can
now?
talk some places.
Oh man, I gotta get some of that at the head shop. They don't have, I mean, head shops open anymore? I don't know. Go on. Go ahead.
There is no deeper place you don't need, it's like if you're not afraid of a dark drug, it'll get you every place you need to be. That's the only one you'll ever need. And you don't need a whole lot of potency either.
Yeah.
That is as far as you.
I can't believe they just would sell it at the head shop and the little thing. I went home and I did some, and dude, I told you this before, but I really believed that I was a lion. I was like crawling around on the ground, like roaring, rah! And I saw myself as a lion. It was amazing.
It's like, that stuff is like a warp drive on the Enterprise. You know how they have their regular like impulse power when they're just sort of like, just jotting around near the planets and shit. And then when they want to go like tear hell to like get to like new shit that they've never seen before, they engage the warp drive.
Yeah.
And then occasionally they get knocked out so far they don't even fucking know which end is up.
Yeah.
That shit is like a warp like 15.
I wonder how it goes up against DMT.
Based on my research, and I would never do anything illegal, so I can't base this on any kind of like firsthand knowledge.
Right.
But I would say that they're equally profound and like mind altering and totally conscious, ego destroying. So all of the core characteristics of psychedelic drug are totally just fucking maxed out with salvia. And I'm almost scared to talk about it because I'm always surprised that I'm like, well, you know what I think it'll never really catch on is because it's so goddamn scary.
I didn't find it scary, to be honest with you. I didn't.
You have balls of steel.
I mean, it could have went the other way, but I did it like a few times, and each time it didn't scare me. It really felt like, I definitely felt like I went somewhere else. But I didn't have fear though for some reason.
Do you find it to be a creepy drug with a creepy feeling?
No.
I do.
Really?
I
wonder if it's the different strengths. Maybe you did one that was like super hardcore. If not that you ever did it, but.
No, I would never do it. I'm not confessing to anything. So, but I base it on like, I read about mouse experiments and things like that. So I can speak about it with some authority. And I'm just saying that, man, oh my God, read, a fantastic resource if people are interested in psychedelic effects. There's a guy called Daniel Siebert, and he lives in California, and he has a website called Sage Wisdom. Ooh. And he's been like the guy to investigate salvia. And I think he was the guy that actually isolated the active component in it, salvinorin alpha. So it's a very different drug, it's an anesthetic, really. It's a kappa, I believe it's a kappa opioid agonist. And it is different than really anything else, but it's a profound anesthetic.
Huh.
And so they discovered this salvinorin molecule. And I believe if you do the math on it, its potency is probably even higher than probably acid, because it's microgram potency if you isolate it. And so in addition to that, people have in the labs, they've taken that and they've made designer chemicals from salvinorin.
Wow.
So now they've made them so they last longer.
Oh.
So that was the whole thing, because salvia, it's a weird drug too, because the drug's not like shaped like a regular drug molecule. It's not like a, an alkaloid style drug. It's more of like kind of an oily drug, kind of similar to more like, well, I guess like kind of like THC a little bit, but it's different, but it's so potent, and it's like the crystals are so. Daniel Siebert on his website has pictures of the crystals, and he tells stories about the first time he accidentally ingested the isolate. So he got like a super potent experience, and he had what was like sort of an out of body experience, almost like a teleportation style thing.
Wow, that's awesome.
And yeah. So just go to his website, and Erowid is another one. If you want to just read about this stuff. You don't even need to take those kind of risks and with legal entanglements. You know what I'm saying? You don't want any trouble.
Hell yeah.
And also,
watch out for all the fans out there. Watch out for you guys.
And you want to be employable, son?
Are you essential? Are you essential?
But yeah, dude, there are some people out there that are hardcore that are willing to take some chances. Like that guy Sasha Shulgin would just cook up new drug molecules in his lab and just take them.
Wow.
Now, I don't think most people realize how dangerous that is. So he would, and there's other guys. So there are some drugs, like there's one called MDPV, which is the way that they, I believe, discovered the way that Parkinson's works. Because if you get any of this drug, even near your system, you get like, I believe it's Parkinson's permanently.
Wow.
And it's not dissimilar from other drugs that don't have any kind of bad effect like that at all. So it's like, and there are things like that. Thalidomide is another one where they have drugs of different hands. So you have different like mirror images of each other. So you have the same drug that's just a mirror image of another one. And one can just relieve nausea and morning sickness. And then the other mirror image will cause like the worst kind of birth defects in young mothers. Yeah. Or for the babies.
Shit.
I mean, it's like really scary. Thalidomide, we didn't start the fire. Billy Joel sings about it.
Oh, what was the verse? What did he say? I used to know all the words to that song.
I got to get from another place in the song. And that's why I couldn't break right into it.
Right.
Heavy metal.
Don't stay red, shining Johnny Ray, South Pacific, Doja Maggio.
Thalidomide. See, I don't know the things that lead up to it, but anyway, that's some shit. So to just cook up new stuff in your lab and just take it,
hell yeah,
for your whole career, that's like playing Russian roulette, just like loading up a gun like every fucking night and just having a blast, just playing Russian night after night.
Wow.
I mean, we found out some things. I mean, there's nobody that made that kind of progress as one person, as a scientist.
Really?
Oh, I mean, yeah, there have been leaps in terms of understanding, but the kind of hard work that it takes to like do, pharmaceutical chemistry, I don't think there's been a dude that did more on his personal body with his own hands making the drugs than Sasha Shulgin.
See, that's respectable.
Oh, yeah. A really interesting guy. There's a documentary about him that's really good, and it has a sort of an unfortunate, unremarkable, inappropriate title called Dirty Pictures. And it sounds like some kind of like child porno thing. You know what I mean? Or like something not good.
Yeah.
It's called Dirty Pictures. And they call it that because that's what they call it. He used to draw these atomic diagrams, and he would call them dirty pictures.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, son, they're not dirty. It's not dirty.
She's clean, yo.
Yeah, so Dirty Pictures is a good documentary.
Oh, okay.
That dude, he was a rock star, man.
Right on.
He's not like a Bill Gates. He's not some fucking dweeb. He's a dude. He got his fucking PhD.
Right on.
And he rocked the house, and he didn't submit to authority. He's a hater. Bill Gates is a hater.
I just can't believe that people don't see that you got this guy that's saying we need to reduce the population of the earth, but we want to help people. We want to help the population, you know. But so take this vaccine. This is gonna save the world population, even though we want you all dead.
I mean, part of me feels a little bad for him. Let me run this by you. All right, this is gonna blow your mind, but look, Bill Gates, he's trying to get. I like that. I think he's trying to get people to appreciate him and like him and look up to him, and it backfired. And now he's more hated than even when he was running his company into the fucking ground.
I don't think he's even human. I don't think that he has feelings.
No, the more he tries to act human, he's like Joe Biden. It's like, dude, you should just stop. Just put up a cardboard cutout. It'd be more convincing.
Or Zuckerberg. That guy does not seem human. And Elon Musk, dude, when he was on Rogan, the guy does not seem fucking human.
I can't even watch that, dude. It hurts me to watch. It makes it look hard to be a human being. It's like, man, just acting normal. He makes it look so hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I'm on the spectrum. I don't know, man.
No, man, he's just, he's a weirdo. He definitely seems like an alien. But speaking of aliens, I wanted to go back to the Stephen Greer.
Yes.
He was going into how, well, you first told me years ago, which you later kind of shifted a little bit about whether or not aliens were real. And, you know, how about now you got the Pentagon releasing these UFO videos as if anyone, and people were like, how come no one cares there's these UFO videos out? Because I'm like, because people probably realize that the fucking government has had UFOs since World War II. I put out a tweet saying I'm more curious who gave them the technology, because I'm convinced that they're doing rituals to communicate with interdimensional beings, entities that are giving them the knowledge for this technology that I think they're convinced that the demons, maybe they want it. I mean, they're doing this shit at CERN, you know, like, so maybe they're getting
all basic shit. I mean, the CERN shit, it's not magic. Other people know how to do it. No aliens had to teach people to do it.
Okay.
I mean, aliens, I think there are aliens. I just don't think that we've been able to take their shit from them properly. And that's where I want to come in.
Yeah, I mean, I
want
think
one of those.
Spear said that if there are aliens, like, they're probably cool with us. They don't want to kill us, otherwise they would have already done it. But then, dude, he goes into the fucking Project Bluebeam, which I wanted to get into, which this whole pandemic is basically getting everyone used to what, I mean, I've been researching Project Bluebeam for years about the fake alien invasion.
Yeah, that's kind of what creating monsters. I made a little reference to that. Yeah, I've been thinking about that too, because that'd be a good way, because man, people, although a virus is even more effective because you don't even have to like conjure up anything in the sky and people are just bowing to submission.
True.
But yeah, an alien invasion would work real well too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would really suck because they have holograms that are now, I looked it up, they got holograms that are like 3D and you can touch them and shit. And so it wouldn't be that hard to stage anything. I mean, when you think about it, it's crazy.
I mean, look what they did with Tupac.
Yeah.
Do you know that's not even a hologram?
Really?
It's way more basic than that, and anybody could make one.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
It's just a half mirror. So like, you can make a mirror like with a piece of glass, and you just sort of half expose it, so it's a half mirror, so you can kind of half see through it, and then you just use a projector, and you project an image onto it. And the way the contrast works from far away, it looks like just a distinct object. And your brain will add some depth perception to it if you're far enough away. It's called like there's some sort of like ghost pirate effect. Somebody invented it in like the 1800s or something.
Huh.
So it's not, and a hologram is way cooler than that.
Yeah. I mean, a hologram
way more interesting.
It's kind of like with us, where the smallest part is the same as the whole thing that it makes up, right?
It contains all the information of the whole.
Yeah. Which Stephen Greer said something that was interesting about how he was getting into, I wanted to bring it up to you, where, just quantum mechanics, where he was saying that if, helium, if they like break helium down, I only basically know the words I'm saying, not exactly.
You mean a Bose-Einstein condensate?
I don't know, but he was talking about breaking, like, bringing helium down to like a 1%, to where then the whole thing like changes the whole damn thing. I mean, I didn't really know what.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's a Bose-Einstein condensate. So it ends up becoming like its wave function. It sort of becomes one particle in a way when you supercool it, and you can condense it into this super fluid phase, and it can do like really like wonky shit. It's been a while since I've read about it, but that's one thing we should talk about one day is like super fluidity.
Yeah.
Look it up. There's some demonstrations on YouTube. And so you can have things that will actually crawl out of the containers if you cool them off enough.
Wow.
Will like defy gravity and shit.
Yeah. I mean, he was getting into anti-gravity, and I mean, it was a great interview. But he also mentioned tying that in with the 100th monkey effect. Have you heard of this?
No, what's that?
It's basically, where you have, so I don't fuck it up. Where is it at? Here we go.
100 monkeys?
The human 100th monkey effect explained. Here we go. The 100th monkey effect is probably one of the most cited phenomenons in the awakening community, yet it is also greatly misunderstood. They contend that this effect is proof positive of an instantaneous and automatic ascension or awakening of all people will take place in the near future. A type of tsunami of awakening will sweep the planet, forcing everyone to be more loving, honest, and fair. But is this really true?
I'm familiar with this effect. I haven't heard it called. Yeah. I've heard the effect with rats. And so this kind of thing has been discussed by Rupert Sheldrake a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a collective learning that can actually like cross boundaries. Yeah. So rats in mazes will display that effect. So like rats, if you have them, even like families of rats and bloodlines that are sequestered on one continent, if they learn a series of mazes, rats unrelated in any way will learn the mazes more effectively.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Theoretically, like if say 1% of the population like awakened to like, bringing about a better world and whatnot, that could like have like a domino effect over the whole population. Is that what it's saying?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I mean, the stuff that they just keep us unaware of, it really makes you keep digging,
And that's why when people don't like to learn, it's one thing I just don't understand. I understand a lot about people, but I don't understand that, because aren't you bored with this horse shit?
You know what it is? It's because school teaches you not to like to learn.
Yeah.
Through it, because you just start associating learning with like pain. And I see it with people like, you want to like tell somebody something that's fascinating, and like they're like, you see them like shunning the information. They're like, no, this goes outside of my comfort zone too much that I'm in pain. But
it's about how learning and being painful, like they have to make it painful. It makes you not want to do it.
They don't make it interesting. They don't make it something that you like once you know about it, you're like, oh shit, that's awesome. Like that, that'll come in handy knowing that. They're like, they just force feed it to you to where you're just like, I don't know. It's just, you don't see the relevance in your life,
I don't even see them giving useful information anymore.
What's that?
I don't even see them giving useful information. I see them reciting a bunch of fucking nonsense and going through a bunch of charts that just don't make any sense. And trying to comprehend literature that's unreadable.
Yeah, and they don't
unworthy of time. Sorry.
They don't get people excited about learning. Because I know for me, like going back in school, they never excited me about learning. It wasn't until I got out of school that I started researching things on my own, and I started getting jonesing for more study, more research, more finding, like digging at stuff. It was just amazing, and it made everything else so boring. So if I wasn't digging and learning and all kinds of good shit, I was like, man, this is boring. Just sitting around and like just wondering what to do.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Like as you get older, unless you're and in one way, I'm fortunate is you have a job that it not only encourages you to learn, but fucking forces you to, at your peril. You don't want to learn. So like if you want to stop learning, well, just get ready to fucking become obsolete. And it forces you, because sometimes the one thing about learning, and I think that I don't say this meaning that I think it should be painful. I think that people should try to minimize it and make it easy. But I think like lifting weights, there's growing pains to learning. And I think that some things you got to wrestle with for a while.
Yeah.
And it takes somebody it takes some support to get enough confidence sometimes to understand certain things.
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of times to do it on your own is, it's not to be done. You kind of want a supportive atmosphere. And that's one of the things that YouTube is the learning resource of YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why I don't even get mad at them for their shit. You know what I'm saying? Because look at what they're doing. Look at what a wonderful thing they're giving us.
I know it's great, but I will say that I don't like what's her name, Suzanne Wojcicki. She's the head of YouTube, just fucking censoring anybody that says anything outside the official story. I mean, yeah, I love what it gives us. You know, there's a lot of freedom and, you know, opportunity for learning and everything, but I feel like it's encumbered us to a degree where you can't say anything. You can't fully communicate your ideas because you're being censored. If you say something that's bad, you're shut down, you know?
I feel like because badness has encroached upon the goodness of YouTube.
Yeah.
But I still, as a concept, I believe it will survive no matter what. And I don't think this kind of resource is going away. I actually personally think YouTube is I think they push back a little bit against this. I really do. I think they're really concerned about becoming irrelevant, and that's going to drive them to not just banish everybody that's fucking interesting. Because guess what? People will turn that shit off in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like something, a pretty young thing will come around.
A new PYT YouTube.
Yeah. So they got to keep it together, man. And people, the public, the media doesn't want to show this, but the public's really getting hip to this fucking nonsense.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. These controllers, these archons think that they've got us now under a barrel, you know, but I think people are seeing, because from what I've gathered, they played their hand too quickly, you know?
Yeah.
And now
they don't judge people properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't assess people. They don't give people enough credit.
Yeah. It's because, they're probably not human, so they don't understand how we operate.
And I mean, granted, people, you gotta, you know, I'll be the first one to shit on human nature in some ways, but you gotta give it the proper credit too. And that's what a lot of these fucks don't do.
Yeah, and I mean, we're getting into human nature real quick, though. I mean, according to, you know, people like David Icke and stuff, these people that are the controllers are they lack empathy. They lack that,
that's right,
you know, that part of their soul. And that's what differentiates us. That's why they're able to like kill off, you know, millions of people and feel great about it, and because they lack empathy. And I mean, that really kind of explains it all.
If you see it, like the people who don't have empathy and they're not even bothering to fake it, it is upsetting to you because you're just like, holy shit, what am I dealing with?
Yeah. And Bill Gates, I feel like, is the epitome of that, because he'll sit there and say, yeah, you know, we might, as we put out the vaccine, as we mandate it on everybody, we might lose like maybe 750,000 people, but it's worth it if we get everyone vaccinated. It's worth it. You know, who cares how many people die of starvation as the economy, never reopens? I mean, it's okay.
I'm just like, for what threat? Demonstrate an actual threat. It's a threat.
No, I mean, and again, I always have to go back to it, that like the fact that these people that talk about how they want us all dead are saying we're going to help you alive,
help you survive.
Yeah, it's just that's right there. All you need to know. You know what I mean?
They have no respect for you. They have nothing but contempt for you. They've outright stated, they have meetings every week where they talk about how they want to fucking get rid of you. And how the fact that you exist is the bane of theirs.
Yeah.
And like, you're going to go and take their shots in the arm willingly and be like, get in line for your COVID shot.
Yeah, you're going to get the chip in your brain. Yeah. What the fuck, man?
Next thing you know, like, you can't, people, I mean, if people could follow it, it's not even dumbness, because dumbness isn't even really, I don't even find dumbness that bad, because I know that I've been dumb and I'm capable of being dumb. But it's the blind submission to fucking authority, and basically the negation of your own will and your own like moral responsibility, where it's like, well, no, because someone told me to, I don't have a fucking responsibility to assess this and do the right thing, because my boss or my teacher told me to do something. I'm doing the right thing. I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
Hey, motherfucker, that's not the way life works.
Yeah.
Now, morality, that shit cuts deeper than your fucking corporate guidelines and your fucking performance report and your fucking quarterly milestones.
Fuck yeah, man.
Your fucking votes.
So we got the messages going out. We should. This has been a great episode, I think, man.
Hell yeah, dog. I miss it, man. I love doing this shit.
Yeah, man. We got to.
And I love our fans. I love our fans so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you to the fans out there leaving us some love. We really appreciate
it.
it.
Later on this week,
Yeah,
everybody will.
We're bringing everybody out there some more content quick. So keep a lookout. Don't forget to subscribe.
Hell yeah. We love y'all. This is Conspiracy Bravo.